Hello, it's Uncommon Fossil, and today I'm continuing the series of decks that may be better than Lugia Archeops. Lugia Archeops, when I look at Limitless underneath the online tournaments, because online just gives a more mixed meta, more variety of deck choices, and I think it's more representative for playing on the ladder in live. Lugia Archeops has a 52% win rate, and there's five decks that have a higher winning percentage that have been played by at least 100 players in events. So Arceus Flying Pikachu is the first deck, also has 52% win rate. It's only marginally better than last time I did Gudra Losso, which is a 53% win rate, 1% higher. Today's deck, Arceus Duraludon, is a 54% win rate, so 2% higher than Lugia, built around Duraludon VMAX, right, with its skyscraper ability, prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from Pokemon with special energy attached. So if Lugia obviously is reliant on special energy, Mew is reliant on special energy, and other decks obviously will play some special energy such as Capture or something. So unless they can have a path to the peak, which does shut off this ability, my Pokemon can't be damaged. Also, its attack is quite solid. It does 220 damage, a good number, and it has the benefit of that this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So something like Miltank hits right through and such. So you don't have to worry about counters, which is quite nice. Now it's a dragon Pokemon, which means it has no resistance, which is no weakness, which is a plus, but it takes two different types of energy. This one is fighting, metal. To get that set up, we play Arceus VSTAR as the only other Pokemon in the deck. And obviously with its Starbirth VSTAR power, which we can use, because Duraludon is not a V-Star, so Starbirth is always available to us to help set up, draw, search for any two cards, and then Trinity Nova attack, 200 damage, and attach 3 basic energy to my V Pokemon any way I want, which usually means powering up one Duraludon with it. So, and that's it. It's a very simple deck. It's the simplest of these decks that have the higher win rates than Lugia. I haven't gotten through all of them yet, but I'm pretty sure this is the simplest. I've played it a good bit. It could be boring, but it also can be relaxing, too, depending how you look at it. So it's metal and fighting, 6/3, and then 4 double turbos, because you want to get off Arceus's attack either as the V is turn. If you go second, turn 1, you accelerate to like a Duraludon. Or turn 2, you need obviously 3 energy attached, so one of them has to be a DTE. It's kind of a mix of a number of supporters with this build. Plays Pokégear, because that helps you search out different different trainers within it. It plays a Raihan. It plays a Mustard, because it lets you play a single strike Pokemon and put it onto your bench. So it's a nice way to get a Duraludon VMAX into play. The deck only plays 2 Vs and 3 VMAXs, partly because of Mustard, and also because you want to start an Arceus V whenever possible. So it plays 4 basic Arceus Vs and only 2 Duraludon Vs, giving you good odds of starting an Arceus each game, which you want to do. And then it plays 4 Colress's Experiment. That's kind of instead of Research, I would say, because you don't want to be discarding your whole hand usually. So getting rid of 2 in the Lost Zone, but picking out 3 to keep works pretty well with the deck. 3 Marnie to disrupt your opponent and just kind of, again, recycle, see new cards. 4 Boss, because it sometimes the deck struggles to set up, and then controlling what's happening is very good. And then Stadiums, 3 Lost Cities, and 1 Training Courts. What this deck has, you could, the older builds played Crystal Cave to help heal. Could play more than 1 Training Court, because there's not a lot of basic energies, and if you run out of basic energies, you have a real problem here. And there's no Rod in the deck, so this Training Court's the only way to recover energy. Well, there is the 1 Raihan also, but no Pal Pad to repeat a Raihan, for instance, and you're not going to get knocked out much, right? Many times the game, at most 2 times. By the time you're knocked out the 3rd time, it's game over for you. And 2 Big Parasol to stop the effects of attacks from opponents, Pokemon that attack you. And that's important for the for Yveltal, right? With Lugia plays Yveltal, and that the ability of Duraludon VMAX being immune to damage. Being knocked out's not damage, right? Attacks that place damage counters can still do it, such as the Psychic Pokemon, which I'm blanking on right now, in the Lost Zone box. Sableye, right, which can place 12 damage counters once they have to have 10, I believe 10 cards in the Lost Zone, though, so that's hard to set up. So I get to go first, which I want to do. Hopefully I get started in Arceus V. Look, it's a good deck. I've played this deck in the past with some success. The build with, now I have to start a Duraludon, which is not what I want to do, but that is life. I don't know if the sound bleeds through, but my headphones, I get a loud sound when the metal Pokemon becomes the active Pokemon. So I will attach and pass. I could play Pokégear, but I don't want to. Obviously, if my opponent Marnies me or judges me, the Pokégear is another opportunity to get something I want. So I'm up against Lugia. Not a shock. There's a lot of Lugia out there. I had been seeing a lot of Mew for a while. Now I'm starting to see more Lugia. So my opponent's going to have Path to damage me, right? So I have access to my VMAX, which I'm pretty sure I'll do this turn. I don't play Path, which I don't want to have, right? Because I don't want to lose my ability for protection. So I want to, getting a stadium to bump my opponent's Path, which they may play down. Yeah, they only need to use their ability one time, really, to set up their V-Star power to accelerate the Archeops onto the bench. After that, Path isn't a problem to them. So they have one Archeops in the discard. Next turn is the one they're going to be looking to use their V-Star power. Let's see what I top deck. I will. So nothing there. So I want to. Do I want to? I think. So I want a Duraludon to be protected. I think I want to get an Arceus into play, which means I have to toss away both of these bosses because I want to have access to the V-Star next turn for the V-Star power. So not the ideal turn one, but not terrible also. Okay. Oh, I had 3 bosses. So I still have a boss left. No reason to boss, though. I mean, I could boss up the Oranguru, I guess. Force them to burn another energy. But we'll see what they have. So they need to get off, play their V-Star, accelerate. Ideally, they really want to accelerate 2 V-Stars to the bench, especially in this matchup, I think. Getting one down, I think, puts them in a pretty poor position. But we'll see what they choose to do. So they Bird Keeper, which might mean that they don't have the resources now to set up, to use their V-Star power. But we will see. So they're manually attaching. And maybe they're just going to use, what is it? Read the Wind attack, which discards and draws 3. And they are. So that's quite nice for me. Discarding Stoutland, yeah, because they're not going to get a prize with Stoutland most likely. So Lost City, I'll keep that to bump Path. So what do I want to do here? I want to get... I need energy. I think I'll play my boss this turn. Actually, maybe I'll Marnie this turn. Marnie sounds good. I don't have much in my hand, so I'll get a basic energy, I guess, to attach. I could throw down another V. No, I will throw down a basic energy. And do I have Marnie? Yes, I have 3 Marnies, so Marnie, see some fresh cards, disrupt my opponent. Maybe I should have grabbed the fighting energy since I already have. The odds are pretty equal between the two. Well, that's a very solid draw there. So end turn, so I can attack next turn. 2 Pokégears, which lets me look at the top 7 cards for a supporter. All right, let me double check, make sure I remember this correctly. Yep. I really enjoy Pokégear, probably like it more than it's worth, but it's you know, it's kind of, it's almost the engine for this deck. Because I have the V-Star Power that I guess is as much of an engine as there is, and then Pokégear lets you do a little bit of looking, right? You don't get to search the deck, but you get to look at the top 7 cards for a supporter. It plays a decent mix of supporters, so you hopefully you will often see something, although not always. My opponent, all right, they have the Lugia up, Summoning Star only for 1, so that's not great for them. They haven't, so if I don't get Marnied here, I can probably just gust up the Archeops. Let's see what they do here. So they're bossing that guy up. Okay, that's okay. I don't mind that. You know, they get 1 card, so they have 3 cards in hand. I have my basic energy. I have a good chance of getting to boss. Pokeball might not be bad to get down. I'll grab the Raihan. I don't necessarily want the Raihan, though. I don't have any energy in the discard. I guess I'll Colress's Experiment. I would like to get a... So I don't need another Arceus in play, so I will grab those Pokemon. I mean, these cards. Hyper Potion's nice. I get some free healing a turn. I might ditch the Raihan, so what do I want to get rid of here? The DT, I don't have, yeah, it's my big weakness right now is that I don't have... Let me keep all those. Maybe I'll get rid of the Switch cards. I like those other cards. If my active does get knocked out, now right, I believe Raihan, even if I would have liked to get a boss and knock out the Archeops, because that would have really crippled them, but didn't get that card. Because they can't one-shot, even if they get a path down, they don't one-shot my Duraludon. And I do have Hyper Potion to heal off 120. Since they only have 1 Archeops down, they can't knock me out with Yveltal next turn, I don't believe. So that's a plus also. They took a chance. They're in a bit of a tricky spot, I would say, with using Lugia's V-Star Power. When you can only get down to 1 Archeops, to me, it's a tricky call. Which way do you go? Do you play it? Do you use the ability or not? Because now that they're down to 1 Archeops for the game. Obviously, if I can knock it out, we'll see what they get down. I imagine they want to get a Yveltal down. See what they play. All right, so we're waiting to see what they play here. Like I said, I'm sure they would like Yveltal, which they got down. I probably won't get boss. I tried last turn to get the boss, and it would have been knocking out the Archeops would have been the key play. Obviously, if I can knock out if I get boss this next turn, I probably take out the Yveltal. Because depending what they attach, they maybe want attachment away from Yveltal. If they get the 3 types of energy covered. All right, so they are running and hiding. So they're just setting up for next turn. Yeah, I guess they weren't going to hit into me for any actual damage. So I guess that makes sense. I'm pretty limited here. I do play Parasol, and I really need to get that going. I play 2 Parasol, so that's a very important card here for sure. I'm still behind in prizes, but right now my opponent is trying to start taking prizes. See what they advance here, right? They can't power up the Yveltal this turn, so that's a big plus for me. I wonder if they have a path. I wonder why they pushed forward the Lugia V-Star. Perhaps we'll see where they accelerate to. Maybe they want to hold on to the Lumineon. The Lumineon, if they attach to it, they can attack and shuffle it back in. So maybe that's a reason to hold on to that and let the Lugia get knocked out. If they don't play Path, then the Lugia is of no benefit to them. So they're okay. They conceded. That was a bit surprising. What they obviously they were in a tough spot. So there we go. A pretty straightforward win. Like I said, it's generally a straightforward deck. It doesn't win all the time, certainly. We'll jump in and see how the deck goes in another matchup. So obviously, special energy opponents is kind of what it likes to see. Obviously, there's a lot of Lugia around. There's Mew, obviously, is around, which also relies on it. But then, like Lost Zone decks, which are very strong, also don't need special energy. Sometimes they don't play any. And obviously, even if they play some, they can attack without special energy still. So we'll see what we get here. Hopefully this time I can start an Arceus V, because that's really what the deck wants to do. I wasn't able to do that this game, but that was okay. All right, so I have an Arceus, which is good. I have an Ultra Ball. That's good. Big Parasol. I would like a DTE. That's the one thing I'm missing is the double turbo energy. So I'll have to see what I get here. If I get a DTE, then I want to get a Duraludon V on the bench and accelerate to the Duraludon V. It's a Lost Zone deck, which means Duraludon's ability is less important here. We'll see what we have with things. Now, I haven't played Duraludon VMAX hitting into a Goodra V-Star that takes 80 less damage. That reduction of damage, I think, gets negated by Duraludon V, so it puts it in a much stronger position. They're ditching the Manaphy, which is correct for this matchup, although they certainly couldn't have been certain about what I'm playing. Because Arceus does pair into a lot of decks, obviously. It's very good. I will say that these 5 decks that with higher win rates than Lugia, 4 of them actually play Arceus. So the next 2 decks are both Arceus decks too. So you got picked up a little spoiler. Give away some information there for what to expect. So they didn't have a great turn. They get 2 cards in the Lost Zone. So I'm going to Coast Experiment. I really would like to. That's not what I wanted to see at all. Do I want Hyper Potion? Do I want Marnie? Do I want Quick Gear? So I'm going to grab Hyper Potion. I'm not sure if that's the best play here, but that's the path. That's the road I'm taking. Do I want Lost City? Probably not. So I want to get down a Duraludon. I'll keep the Big Parasol just in case. All right, I will keep this set of cards. So Hyper Potion's one of the ones I grabbed. Now I decided I don't want it. If they play Path, though, I am certainly in a bit of trouble with that, which the Lost City would have helped with that. So anyway, end turn there. See what happens. It's a good hand for next turn, assuming I'm not Marnied, assuming my cards aren't knocked out. So if there's not a lot of hand disruption for me or board state disruption, it's okay. If they hit into my Arceus, like with Cramorant, which I assume they will because they'll have 4 in the Lost Zone after this Colress, that's okay. Arceus doesn't get knocked out. I can use my V-Star power. And I might actually use the V-Star power to get a Mustard. That may be the play I make with that. So I'm thinking I'll have to see what I top deck. But mustard, you don't usually get to pull off the mustard with this. I've been finding it's the deck build just doesn't seem to, it's obviously it's a terrific card when you pull it off. I'll get down my second VMAX if I can do that, and it draws 5 cards, but I have to get that supporter in hand and empty my hand. There's a lot of cards. A lot of times you can't get rid of all the cards in your hand. That's the issue I often have. So scooping up, getting. So what are they up to? So they're up to 6. They can use the other Comfy again if they have a switching card, but at some point they're going to want to switch into Cramorant, right? So I think there's 7. So they could then, I believe, use Mirage Gate. So that's opened up to them. They've gotten rid of a. All right, well, that's awkward for me. I'm going to. What do I play? 1 switch, I think, in the deck. So that's going to make my life more difficult, I will say. But that's all right. So I want to do this. I'm going to need to attack with the V-Star for sure. So I'll attach to him. Let me think here. I think I still want to. Let me get my, the V-Star here. Let me make sure I've got my mustard. I have my mustard, so I can get the mustard. But if I don't get the switch card, right, this is where it gets tricky, right? I need switch and DTE. So I could be greedy here, and I think I may be greedy here. I will. So I'm going to grab a mustard. I'm going to be greedy. Well, let me look at what my DTE situation. I only have 2 DTEs in deck, so I probably don't get the DTE. So that's a problem, isn't it? I do have 2 switch cards, so maybe I don't want to do that. So let me get switch and DTE. I'm going to play it conservatively here. So DTE, switch. I'll attach. Do I want to get rid of boss? I'll get rid of boss. I can use Ultra Ball. I'll get a draw and a prize card. So I will play that. Get down another Duraludon. I'm playing the safe road here. I'll keep the Big Parasol because I might want to discard that. Do 180. Set up my Duraludon VMAX that I have to attack. So there we go. It's kind of a weird thing. I've attached my energy. I'm looking at my board, and while it's shuffling up my deck, I see that Cramorant there sitting with 180 damage on a, 110, I believe. Yeah, 110 HP Pokemon. So it's knocked out. It's kind of just, it reminds me of those cartoon characters that have run off the cliff, their feet churning, and there it is hanging there. So I'll toss up the VMAX I have. I can attack with him. I'd rather get the Arceus into play, but if that's what I got, if that's what I have, that's what I have. It's not the worst thing. Lost City. I don't know if I want to play that. Obviously, getting rid of some Pokemon is a plus for sure. The Sableye I'd like to get rid of, and getting rid of their attacking Pokemon is probably not bad. They may just play one Sableye. So they may attach to Comfy and Sableye. Sableye to attack, Comfy so they can retreat. That's my guess. They're powering up the Greninja. So they're planning on attacking with him. Oh, so they're going to attack with Greninja this turn. All right, well, I definitely want to put him in the loss zone. 90-2. I guess he will hit my... although, yeah. Yeah, Big Parasol doesn't stop damage, right? So he hits the 2 bench. Oh, that's right, I have the V, so the V is nice there. I think I want to get rid of the Greninja permanently, though. Oh, so I can attack with him, which does seem nice, right? So I think I want to attack with Arceus, power up my second Duraludon. I will cape somebody here, I think, right? I think I cape somebody. Or do I? Do I just Lost City? I'm going to wait on the cape again. So I'll Lost City, smack into him, accelerate energy to my other V. So here we have a matchup. I don't know why the one card's glowing, the other one's not. It's kind of like it's encouraging me to play to the VMAX with energy already. It's a bit disconcerting there. So this game's going nicely for me. They haven't taken any prizes. They've done a little bit some damage, obviously. The Sableye is gone from play. Can't come back. Probably they don't play another Sableye. So, which means my Big Parasol probably isn't necessary. They could play something. They could play Yveltal, right? The amazing rare. Or they could play the Yveltal that knocks out one of my Pokemon. In which case, Big Parasol is certainly helpful. I still might want to attach the Big Parasol to one of my cards. Again, at this point, my opponent has to hit through all. Is going to have to hit through all 3. I mean, well, that's not true. If they can knock out VMAX, right? Forcing my opponent to hit through Arceus first is a real benefit to me. So I want to kind of force. All right, so they have a second Sableye. So Big Parasol helps against Sableye for sure. So we'll have to. I have to think about what I want to do here. So I might want. So I might want to play the Big Parasol this turn. Pokégear is a nice card too. So I'll have to see what I top deck. I might want to play the Pokégear. If I don't draw anything though, we'll see. I may have to get rid of him. All right, well, that's nice. So if I can gust up, I would like to gust up the Radiant Greninja. So Boss, very nice for me. Boss up Radiant Greninja. I could, at this point, I keep having this decision. Do I play the Big Parasol? Do I just not do that? I think I will knock him out. Actually, I'll attach here. So they have to gust if they want to do damage with Sableye, right? So, and obviously they might do that. I'm going to say, I'm going to leave the energy. I'm not sure. It might have been good to thin access, but if I don't know. Did I get rid of a Hyper Potion? Let me look here. All right, so they have 12. So they have access. So they have 12. So they have a lot of. So I've gotten rid of 1 Hyper Potion. Would I play 2? So I have 1 more Hyper Potion in deck. I haven't looked to check my prizes though. So they promoted the Sableye, but they can't. I don't believe they can do damage to me. Okay, well now they can do damage to me. 40, 80, so it does 9. So I do knock them out with my V, but I probably will evolve to the VMAX. It's got this damage marker in the arrow which kind of stacked up there before I clicked on it. It was a little odd, little visual glitch there. So spreading things around. So getting him to where he could be, well, knocked out by a Cramorant. So I'm going to evolve by the Duraludon V for sure. Do I want to use the Pokégear? I want to keep the DTE, I think. So I'm going to play these two. Keep the DTE. Now I need to get Hyper Potion to make it useful, right? Let's take a look. So they conceded. They knew I had access to the VMAX. I mean, to me, I would wait till I probably played the VMAX. You kind of want to know that your opponent has, not just what they're trying to do, but you want to make sure they can actually do it, to me. So I will jump in, do one more game here. So the deck, it's winning well. It's like, like I said, it's a fairly straightforward deck, potentially boring deck. You have decisions to make. It's never fair, I think, when people say that a deck has no decisions or it's brain dead. You don't have, you make a few decisions, but the decisions are very limited. You only have 2 attackers, so that decisions are limited. You don't really have an engine, so you're just dealing with the cards you have in hand to maximize your play. So that again restricts your decisions, but you have probably a couple decisions over the course of most games that are important. So this is a really nice starting hand. Arceus in start, a DTE in hand. I have an Ultra Ball, so I will use that to. All right, so it's a couple possibilities here. So I want to toss that down. I think Lost City would be nice here too. So I want to get rid of. So I'll keep the Marnie, I guess. I'll keep the Marnie. And I'll toss down a V. Let's see. Okay, and I have a single Mustard, which is always trying to keep an eye on that, because that's important, right? So I'm not guaranteed access to my V-Star next turn, but I can work without it. But if I don't hit it, that's okay too. All right, I'm Marnied, so that's okay. It was an okay hand, but not the best hand ever. Ultra Ball, yeah, that's a solid hand. All right, so my turn. So I want to get. What do I want to do here? I want to get rid of. Well, I want to toss the Raihan, right? And I want to toss. Maybe I made a mistake here because I want a Mustard, right? Next turn. So did I make a mistake? Maybe I did. Maybe I should have quick balled first. I think I miscalculated. So I wanted Arceus. I can toss my Training Court. Maybe that's what I need to do. Because I need to get a Mustard. I need a Mustard and a basic energy. That's what I need. So make it simple on me, and I will toss the Training Court. I would have liked to have played the Training Court, so I made a mistake there. Mustard. Let's see what energy I want to attach. So I have 6 and 3. So I will give myself the flexibility here. Actually, I will discard the energy, get it back with the Training Court, and then Mustard, right? That's the play. That's the play. All right. That way I keep and don't grab a card. Play Training Court. I'll play Mustard first. No. I'll play Mustard first. So I already have a VMAX in play. That's nice. 5 more cards. That's very nice. Evolve here. I have Big Parasol, but I'm going to wait on that. Get back my energy. You know, depending what I drew for energy. So this is a very nice setup. Big Parasol. Do I want to attach Big Parasol now? No, they probably have the ability to remove my Big Parasol. So I want to keep that in hand, I think. So they have Yveltal probably in the deck. Big Parasol. You know, Big Parasol, though, is a weird one because it only works when it's in the active. So if I protect, you know, so they can gust and then take out any Pokemon that they want with it. The only one that's protect. So are they going to? All right. So they're sending up the Duraludon without. Wow. Okay. So read the wind. So they have nothing here. So that's really great for me. Get rid of Ultra Ball, which is a bit odd too, I gotta say. So I could thin things. I don't think I want a Marnie, because they're not in great shape. I want this guy for sure. All right, I don't have the ability to switch, which is okay. I'll just do this to thin at this point. All right, nothing there. I just end turn. Do I attach Big Parasol? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. If I attach Big Parasol, I might actually attach it to like the bench Duraludon. I could attach it to both Duraludons. I don't know if they have the ability to remove 2 Big Parasols. But at most they can remove 1 Duraludon VMAX this turn if they set up, and I'm not so sure they're going to be able to do that. So they're searching for a water Pokemon. So they have 0 Archeops in the discard, so they have done very little here. They've set up terribly, obviously. And even if they manually attach at this point, all right, so they have access to the V-Star, and they can get 1 Archeops into play if that's what they want to do. I don't know if that'll be enough for them, obviously. It's tricky, right, with the 1 Archeops. All right, so they're grabbing an Archeops. If they have another Ultra Ball, then they will discard this Archeops. No, they don't, so they're getting rid of this Archeops. So they have 2 in the discard, so they have now the potential with the Lugia V-Star to get 2 into play. Not loving this. Do I want to throw down a Big Parasol? I think I do. I will put down a Big Parasol. 1. I'll save the other one, and I'm going to Marnie now. Since they have a bigger hand. So I have a switch card, which I want to utilize. Now, which way do I want to work this? Do I want to... Actually, oh, I have game now, don't I? So I just knock them out. So that's it. So I was overthinking things there. Boom. 220. Knocked out. So obviously Lugia did not set up well. But, you know, it was a good start for me. I think they might have conceded there before I finished drawing the prizes. I don't remember exactly how those animations work. So there we go with the deck. Breeze through, 3 games, pretty easy wins. Not a lot of pressure on me, not a lot of tension of how are things going. It's a deck that works pretty well. depending on your mood, it may be boring or it can be relaxing too. You want to play a little Pokemon, but, not have to put your full focus on it all the time. It's certainly a deck to play with that goal in mind. So, give the deck a try. It's good. And I honestly think that this could be a good choice post-rotation, which I'll have to, when I look at some of the builds for these current decks and how they go post-rotation, obviously all the Pokemon are staying. It will be viable post-rotation. So take care.